Okay, so we made it to our last video of the review. We're going to talk about circle transformations and angle conversions. All of this is what you're going to see on your quiz. So let's talk about your circle transformation. I'm just going to go over one of the examples we did in class. It was in the workbook. We'll talk about number 4. Okay, so when it deals with circle transformation, there was always the two that we were talking about. It was always translation and dilation. Now, because it got slid, and then it gets bigger or smaller, depending on what the dilation is, these circles will always be similar. They're not congruent because it's not the same size and shape. It's just the same shape, but different size, so they're going to be similar. Anytime you do a transformation, it's going to be a translation and dilation. So translation means you're sliding, and dilation means you're enlarging or reducing. So this is what makes it be similar, not congruent, because it changes the size of it. So it says, describe the sequence of transformations that carry circle W to J. So always look at what they're asking you for. Here it's going to be from W to J. So you always deal with translation first. Think of that. That's your center. Remember, when you graph a circle, you always graph the center, and then you need your radius. So first, let's look at the center. From W to J, you need to look at a translation. So from here, how did I get to J? Always do left or right first. That's your x values. So from here, I'm going to count, and you'll be going left 6. Then I have to go down 7 to go to J, from one center to the other center. And this is how you write it. Your xy got transformed. So x, I went left 6, so I'm going to put x minus 6, comma, that's happened to the x values. You got moved 6 left. Then the y values, I went down 7, so it's y minus 7. If you're going right or up, those will be positives, okay? So that's your center. That's how it got moved. Now we're going to talk about dilation. Remember, these are the only two we're going to talk about for transformations. So the center got moved. Now it's moved. But notice now the size changed. It got from small to big. So that's a dilation. So to find your dilation, it's related to your radius. So notice for a circle, it's always center and radius you deal with. To graph the equation. So now we're going to deal with the radius. I want to find the radius of W and the radius of J. So the radius is from the center to a point on a circle. You're just going to count. You can count from this way, from the center to up, down, doesn't matter. I always like going right to count. So when you count, the radius is going to be 6 for W. Now the radius for J, when you count from the center to the point on the circle, it's going to be 8. We need to figure out what is the scale factor, because that's going to help me multiply my numbers out. So from 6 to 8, we're like, okay, one number got multiplied from 6 to 8. That's kind of hard to think about. So let's say I told you one radius was 4, and the other radius was, let's say, 12. I need a scale factor for dilation. Like, what did I multiply my x and y values by? Well, from 4 to 12, what do I have to multiply by? That would be by 3. So the scale factor would be 3. That's my scale factor. However, for this example, from 6 times what gives you 8? You need a fraction. So since, let's say we didn't know 4 times 3 is 12. If I wanted to go backwards, okay, so 4 times what gives me 12? I'm doing the opposite. I'll be dividing by 3. I'm sorry, dividing by... No, I'm dividing. 12 divided by 4. I do 12 divided by 4, and that's going to give me 3. So if I didn't know, I would be dividing by 4. So with that concept, think of here. So 6 times what gives me 8? So I'm doing the opposite. I'm going to do 8 divided by 6. So I get the answer. So I'm going to always reduce a fraction. So I get 4/3. That's the scale factor. So from W to J, if I multiply my values, my x and y, by 4/3, that's how you get the new circle. So you're going to write it like this. It got transformed 4/3 times your x value, whatever your scale factor is, you put in front of x and in front of y. And just to show you, if I did 6 times 4/3, just to show you, you do get 8. You get 6 over 1 times 4, multiply the numerator, Multiply the denominator. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So if ever you don't know what the scale factor is from one to the other, just divide it out and you'll find the scale factor. And that's what you use to multiply your x and y. So translation is adding or subtracting your x values, and dilation, it's always a scale factor being multiplied to your x and y's. Okay, so that means these two circles are similar. Same shape, but different size. Okay, so that's what you need to know. And the last thing we're going to talk about is angle conversions from degree to radians and then radians to degree. Okay, so for angle conversions from degree to radians, you're going to multiply by pi over 180 degrees. If you want radian to degree, you have to multiply by 180 degrees over pi. So notice the same fraction is just flipped. So basically, the numerator is what you want your answer to be in. So if I want it to be in radians, I'm multiplying by pi in the numerator because my radians will have pi as the answer. If I want my answer in degrees, I'm multiplying by 180 degrees in the numerator. So now we're going to convert the following. So it says convert to radians. So I have 65 degrees. I want it to radians. So because I wanted to radians, I'm multiplying the numerator by pi, and 180 degrees goes in the denominator. So now I'm just going to put this over 1, so I can multiply my numerators together. I'll have 65 pi and times 180. Now, whenever you have a fraction, always ask yourself, can you simplify further? And I could. I could divide the top and bottom by 5 to simplify it. So that gives me 13 pi over 36. And just double check to see if maybe you left out another number you could simplify further. I check, that's it, that's my final answer. So that means 65 degrees is equivalent to 13 pi over 36. It's the same angle, just different units. So think of like inches and feet, just different units. Okay, and the last one, convert to degrees. This is in radians because I have pi, that gives it away, so I'm going to degrees. I wanted to go to degrees, so I'm multiplying 180 degrees in the numerator, because I want that, over pi. Right away, when this happens, you could cross simplify. The pi's divide out. So now you're left with 2 over 5 times 180 over 1. And you just multiply now. 2 times 180, 360 divided by 5. So you're going to get 72 degrees. So these are the same angles, just different units. So now you're ready to take your quiz. Make sure you review everything we just talked about. Hopefully you wrote them down for examples, and good luck.